great culture affect top and bottom line revenue increase or profit increase, right? How can we marry those more emotional sort of like team dynamic group formation things into dollars and cents?
This is a really simple thing. I was a member of an 8-person leadership team. And then one thing that changed the entire culture that led to a significant set results. So we went from a $150 billion business unit to a $350 million business unit and got more than our fair share of capital from the mothership, as we called it. We had one list at the end of every meeting, and we called it our did-wis list. And it stood for, did I do what I said? And at the end of every meeting, we said, okay, what did we decide here today? Who's doing what by when? And we started every meeting with just going down that list. The next meeting was, you could only answer yes or no. And it would just spit out a % complete. And it sounds really silly, but I will tell you, we had defined a culture, we had defined a whole bunch of other things, but as a group that leads the decision-making and the problem solving for the organization, when DidWIS became the only tool we measured and monitored, margin grew, market share grew, profitability grew, and the respect and influence we had organizationally because we delivered what we said we would deliver, and we got more than our fair share from everybody else. And try as I may, there's only been 2 clients in 15 years who've actually committed to actually making that a muscle that they were prepared to build and had similar results. It sounds so silly, but when you commit to something really simple and repeat it over and over, you are hardwiring in a mindset, a culture, and a set of habits and behaviors that really help you focus your business on what matters most, who matters most, and you all know why.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I just wanted to chime in, Judy, is that when as we've embarked on building and nurturing culture, it's been amazing to see that when wins start showing up on the traditional business scoreboard, then it's like, oh my goodness, right? Like everyone feels that not only does this fill my cup, not only does this make me feel, awesome about being part of this team, it's translating into what the world recognizes as success, right? In terms of business. And then for them and for all of us, it's like, this is something I need to be a part of, right? This is because it's touching all of the bases in terms of indicators of success.
I mean, if you think about it, the best and most successful people did the hardest work in the dark when nobody saw it, mm-hmm. Right? And so a lot of the stuff that makes us great or builds a culture is boring, repetitive, and we want to move on to sexy, exciting, fun things, and we can. But if we haven't done the hardwiring part where it becomes habitual and part of who we are and how we are, we're chasing money, we're chasing sales, we're chasing the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Tynan, do you have any thoughts on that? And then we'll go next.
All I would add is simply that, the question you always have to be asking yourself is, I think, the opposite of what you asked, right? Instead of saying, what is the impact on bottom line? It's saying, if we don't focus on culture, like, we need to be worried, right? Like, I think it's
yeah, so that nicely corrected. Thank you.
Right? Like, if you're trying to build a business today, again, this is different than 10 years ago, mm-hmm. 15, 20 years ago, right? But now you want the top talent, you want, people to stick around. They have so many options of people that already are talking this talk and walking this walk. They will leave and they will not perform. And they will, when they're working from home, they will watch Netflix for 5 hours in the afternoon and you won't know about it until it's too late and your business is sunk. Like, those are the things that, like, you can't, that volitional effort. I love Chiyoko talking about that. Like, that's a real thing right now. And again, I am never a proponent of somebody micromanaging and feeling like they need to, monitor that their staff are working by being in the office. And that's crazy. But also, there are still a good proportion of people in the workforce that if they don't have somebody watching over their shoulder, they've been so trained to only be able to work by that motivation, they don't know what they're doing with themselves right now. They can't self-discipline enough while being at home and having no one watch them. So if you're not focusing on this, especially right now, then I don't think you have to worry about sales or revenue or ROI, because it's not going to come.
It's that whole did whis, right? Did I do what I said? Who's doing what by when? And did we do it?